Boom! What's up, Unlimited Lifers? Coach Corey here. Together we'll do it better. And today is day 28 of the 30-day live challenge. You are so close to completing this challenge. I'm going to make this one a little easy. Again, we're just going to do another story today, right? So I can't stress enough how important it is for you to continue to do stories. Stories is going to be one of the best ways to get people to know, like, and trust you, and also relate to you, right? So the last time we did one of these, I talked about the kind of my experience back in 2008 where I lost everything, right? My fiance and I broke up. I lost my job. I got 2 DUIs. My house was repoed. My truck was repoed. And I started living in this like little one-room shack above this lady's garage. And then I was going to kill myself, but I didn't, right? And I'm so glad that I didn't, obviously, because I wouldn't be here today to help hopefully encourage and motivate you and do this challenge. But at that time, after I had this kind of like this spiritual awakening or whatever, that was my epiphany moment, right? So Russell Brunson talks about this all the time. Like, in order to be an online marketer, you need to take people from point A to point B, and a big part of that is your epiphany. Like, you're in this spot, you had an epiphany, and then that got you to where you wanted to go, right? So my epiphany moment was after that experience. I was going to AA every day, so it was court ordered. I had to go to AA every day for a whole year, right? And along that journey, though, at first I really didn't like going because I didn't think I needed to be there. I wasn't really an alcoholic. I never really drank. I don't drink now even, and not because of that experience, but I was just never really a big drinker anyway, right? I had a horrible heartbreak. I lost everything. I hit rock bottom, so I went to the bottle, and unfortunately, I got in a mess. But because I was court ordered to go, the first, I don't know, a couple months or whatever, I really didn't care. I just showed up, got my paper signed, and went home. And then after this moment, though, I started actually speaking up. I started sharing my experiences with people, around the tables, and I started building this little community. And because I had to go every day, I was seeing the same people over and over again. And a lot of them started coming up to me like after the meetings and stuff and saying, how great of a speech I gave or whatever it was, that I started touching them, right? And then that, I thought that was really encouraging and powerful. And then what happened was I ended up having one of my friends call me up and ask if I could house sit for her. She had a house on the lake with a couple of dogs. She needed to go out of town for the weekend or whatever it was. So she said, come on over. I'll fill the fridge full of food. I'll give you a couple $100 to get some food. You can watch my dogs, take the boat out, do whatever you want. And I was like, heck yeah, dude, this is like an awesome vacation, right? So I go over there and I'm house sitting for her. And I just happened to look through her library, I guess, right? So at the time, I had never read anything in my life, no books or whatever. But after that treadmill moment, right, after I got off that treadmill, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad for the first time. And it was the first book that I read like cover to cover. And it like completely started waking me up to reading. I started loving reading. So anyway, I'm at her house. I see on her shelf, she's got a book called The Alchemist. Actually, hang on, I'm going to grab my copy because I do have a copy. Boom. Right? The Alchemist. This book is an awesome, awesome book, especially if you are on your own personal legend, right? So in the book, they talk about your personal legend, and it talks about like the signs and the omens, right? So I read this book. I read it over the course of a day. It's a really quick read. So I was out on the boat. I mean, I spent all day on the boat just sitting out, reading with the dogs. And the book starts talking about these omens. Like, you got to look for the signs, right? So I go back to her house, and then all of a sudden, I see that she had a movie called You, Me, and Dupree that, I put it in and I watched it. And the funny thing is, I completely related to the main character in that story. So basically, he was, kind of at a low point in his life. He went and moved in with his friend that was newly married. And throughout the story, he reads the book Not About the Bike and becomes a motivational speaker. And now, because I just read that book, The Alchemist, that talks about signs, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is what I need to do. I want to be a motivational speaker, right? I want to help people. And as soon as I got done with that book and I watched the movie, all of a sudden I saw that she also had It's Not About the Bike by Lance Armstrong, which is the book that he actually read in that movie. So I'm like, oh, this is another sign. So I read that book. And nonetheless, that's when I decided, I'm going to be a speaker. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to do conferences and all this kind of stuff, right? And at the end of this year, I call it the best year of my life. My best friend's dad passed away. and my buddy reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do the eulogy, right? So here I am, looking for the signs, and I want to be a speaker, and now I have an opportunity to speak. And this guy, this man was more of a father to me than my own dad was. So it was really touching that they asked me to do it. I do get pretty emotional, so he's like, if you can't get through it, just let us know, write it down, and then we can give it to the pastor or priest or whatever, and he can finish it for you. And I was like, no, I'm going to do this. So I went back to that mindset of me being on the treadmill, right? I know I asked God, I said, God, give me the strength to do what I need to do, right? Like, I know that with you, anything is possible. And I got up there, I gave the speech. It was one of the best moments of my life. One of the best gifts I've ever gotten from somebody was the ability to honor my friend's father in that moment. Made people laugh, made people cry. It was a great speech. And once again, people came up to me afterwards and were just like, dude, that was like the most best speech ever. Can you write my best man speech and all this other stuff? And it kind of solidified of what I wanted to do. But then for 10 years, I didn't do anything about it. Because I was at such a low point, I didn't really know what to do or how to do it. I knew what I wanted to do, but I never did anything about it. But I started, reading books like The Secret and all these other personal developments, Tony Robbins books and stuff, but I never actually took action. And it wasn't until my daughter was born that I actually started taking action. I started putting all this knowledge that I had into place, and I quickly rose to the ranks on Facebook as a Facebook group growth expert. And then I actually achieved my dream. I accomplished my dream. I envisioned this moment for years and years and years of being a speaker. And on March 14th, 2020, literally the week that COVID hit, I was able to speak on stage for the very first time. And it was super powerful, like one of the best experiences I've ever had. And I remember in that moment, I got emotional and I started crying a little bit when I was speaking because I had realized a dream right there on that stage, right? So that's just my story. I love sharing it with people, so hopefully you got something out of it. But yeah, that's it for today, day 28. Just share another story, get a little bit more deeper on it. And make sure you use hashtag 30-day live challenge day 28, and then come back to this email. You're almost done clicking that button. I know you're probably getting annoyed by now, but just make sure that you click that little gold button so that you get tomorrow's email going over the topic for day 29, and we'll see you guys soon.